Welcome to our system that supports data workers in their daily activities. Today, we would like to give you a quick overview of the benefits that our tool, with the help of ChatGPT, can offer to data workers at EnBW and how it simplifies their everyday work. Similar to many other tools, the employee first needs to sign in with a registered account and will then be redirected to the landing page. There, he will be faced with a simple design that doesn't overwhelm him and helps him to get a good overview over the possible actions that he could take. If it's the user's first time using the tool, he has the option in the lower left area of the sidebar via the FAQ field to get to frequently asked questions such as what is the chatbot for or what can the chatbot do. By clicking on the question, an explanation will then pop up that helps the user to get a better understanding of the chatbot and provide him with some additional information. With this basic understanding of the chatbot that the user has now gained, he can additionally look up the personal information to his account by clicking on the My Account field. Here he can see, for example, his role that is particularly important if he wants to access data through the chatbot that is only available to users in a particular role in the company. When all that is done, the user can now use the chatbot by simply clicking on the New Chat field. A short introduction sentence to the conversation will pop up and encourage the user to interact with the chatbot. Here, the user can now ask various questions about the EnBW database, such as where can I find the customer information. He will then receive a direct answer of the chatbot with the tables where information about the customer can be found. Beyond that, he will receive information about which columns are important in the table and what their names actually stand for. That is particularly important because the name of different columns are often quite confusing for the user and not self-explanatory. The user can then go into more detail about the response he received and ask with which other tables his result is connected. Again, the chatbot will answer very quick with another list of tables his first result is connected to. These were just some examples from a broad range of possible tasks that our chatbot is capable of. And for example, it would also be possible to create SQL queries for users that they could then use. If the user now wants to create another chat where he wants to solve another task, he can just click on New Chat and another empty chat will open. This allows the user to maintain an overview and process his task in a structured manner. In addition, chats are not older than 30 days are also solved in the left sidebar and can be accessed again at any time. So every time the user needs information that he has already asked for, he can retrieve it without much effort. To always stay up to date on new functionalities and the capabilities of the chatbot, we added an update page for the user that can also be accessed through the left sidebar. Here, the user can get a quick overview of the latest updates to the chatbot and see what new features are available. This concludes our short introduction to the chatbot for data workers at EnBW. As we developed a fully functional prototype, we would like to give a quick overview over the most important components of our backend. In order to get a working system, we first needed to set up a database with multiple tables that you can see on the left side. Each of them includes a number of columns which stick to the naming conventions of typical SAP tables and is filled with example values. This database we then connected to our Python code. With the help of a web framework called Flask, we created our web application. If the user selected to enable SQL queries, this code comes into place. First, the process SQL part searches for the information that should be represented as an SQL query and extracts it. With the help of ChatGPT and based on this information, an SQL query is created. Through a connection to the database, the execute query part of the code then processes this query and fetches our results. Those results are then passed to ChatGPT for another refinement and then to the front end. In our JavaScript code, we connected our tool with ChatGPT in the version 3.5 Turbo and the chat completion mode. That enables our tool to send messages and answers questions from the user. The HTML code then specifies the design for the surrounding of our chatbot, like the header, the sidebar, or the search bar. In order to always have the latest version of our database in place, our system always checks the underlying database before a conversation with the user to avoid any misinformation. As you can see here, the front end initiates an HTTP request to the backend to retrieve the current database scheme. To also make sure that our system gives the user responses that are appropriate to the context, we always give the underlying chatbot additional information on what he should do and what the database schema is. All this is hidden from the user to make sure that he has a good overview over his input and a better user experience. Combined with a few other specifications, our system is thus able to provide the user with a quick answer to his questions. For the finish of our prototype, you can see on our last HTML page some additional design features that we have specified for our prototype in order to create a visual presentation that is even closer to a final product. Thank you for listening to our presentation.